Hey guys, my last video detailing the launch of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 received 30,000 views in about 24 hours and has around 400 comments. In this video, I'm going to answer 10 comments specifically related to virtual reality and Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So let's get into those details. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Jose. I'm an air traffic controller at Tampa International Airport. Been doing this now for about 16 years. I love everything VR, flight sim, tech related, and that's what we do on this channel. So feel free to subscribe. Let's get into the details. And if you guys want to see that video, I'm going to leave it linked below. But this video, it's going to be talking about VR, performance, and a couple things which I kind of didn't properly do last time. So let's rock and roll. Here we go. Fellow pilots, if we're meeting for the first time, my name is Jose. I'm an air traffic controller in real life at Tampa International Airport. Aside from that, I fly in VR and love to share my passion with you guys about it. And here, I did get a lot of questions, surprisingly, about some things that I missed and some things that were kind of vague on my video. So let's jump right in. Frank Zappa 2274 said VR plastered bright red, but you were so vague with any detail regarding performance and it was hidden right at the end. Kind of frustrating to watch, lol. You sound like a great guy and sorry to be so blunt, but this VR performance does not sound that promising the way you skirt around it, lol. Yes, beta, I know. So I told Frank, hey Frank, no need to apologize. I appreciate the feedback and honesty. I hope you understand there was a few limiting factors. I was using their system to capture my experience, which was cool, but I had no clue what it was, right? So this computer, I believe it was a 13700K with 4080 Super and some sort of RAM. In fact, somebody commented below that it was a 14900K 4080 Super with 64 gigs of RAM. How they know, I don't know. I trust them. Maybe they're wrong. I did send a message to someone at Microsoft to see if I can get the exact specs. I should hopefully have that here. If it's not on the video, it'll be in the comments below. But Pimax was installed and I do not own the Crystal Light, so I did not do any tweaking, guys. I had zero time to check performance or update any settings, so the performance was good. It was above okay, but it was not perfect. There was minor stutters. Now I feel that there's room for improvement here, so I don't think it's the end of the world, and I think we're in good shape. At one point, I ended up saying I would not say FPS, and I meant to say because I did not have it displayed, and I did not know how. I think I got distracted by a road or the trees or something. Someone said, hey, you were distracted by the road. You didn't say about the FPS. So I did not pull up the FPS. I never had it on my screen, so that's why I didn't tell you what the FPS was. Otherwise, I would read to you someone who flies VR, who's been flying VR since 2014 and using VR since Oculus DK1. It wasn't bad, and there's room for improvement, and that's pretty much what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So I don't know the FPS, I didn't have it on my display, and hopefully I'll get hands-on beta and be able to get a video out as soon as 2024 launches with better instructions and a tutorial. At the end of the day, guys, with multi-threaded support DX12, we should get significantly better performance, and we should be looking pretty good. So it's looking up, definitely looking up. Small World Big Thing says, I am interested only in topics related to VR, how smooth the gameplay was in VR, was it smoother than Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and how much improved was the graphic, and which elements you saw real improvements. So to answer this briefly, was it smoother than Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 in 2D? 1000%. It was just the smoothest thing I've ever had. I absolutely loved it. It was impressive. A few minor stutters. In fact, XP72, who flew the 7.3 Max out of Lauderdale, experienced significantly more stutters than me. I actually didn't experience any stutters like that, but it was significantly smoother. And actually, I think in his video, once it smoothed out, it was really good. So there's a sense of, as it loads the data, you know, you're kind of working to build up and cache the memory, but overall, yes, it was significantly smoother. VR, no, right now I got this tweaked. I mean, I've been running VR for years now, so I got my Quest 3 absolutely tuned to perfection, and nothing beats. I mean, the only thing that outperforms Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 with a Quest 3 is DCS, which is somehow magically better. So that's pretty cool. And how much improved was the graphic, and which elements you saw real improvements? So graphics, lighting was hugely improved. The shadows, there's RTX inside the cockpit, the colors, the sky, the clouds, the pixelation, the draw distance and those type of things looked pretty normal. There were some areas with the terrain that looked significantly better. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. There was other areas that were kind of like meh, but I mean, still an improvement versus what we have now. So many improvements are here. So I think we're in good shape. GSXR 1000 JT with the Blue Angel F18 on his profile says, is VR more clear? 2020 looked pixelated. I'd be satisfied if Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 had the same VR quality as DCS. How would you compare DCS VR to 2024? Good question. So I just said that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 right now in DCS is running really smooth. I think I have probably the best clarity in DCS, even though right now Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is pretty dang good. And how would I compare VR to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 DCS? All right, so a couple of things are happening here. The pixelated, I think part of this is two things. There's the software side of it, right? How the system is being rendered. For some reason, I have felt that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 really required like bump up in resolutions and render scales to have a great experience. With that being said, DCS right now looks extremely sharp, and Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 was stunning, beautiful. It was very sharp, especially with the Pimax Crystal and the resolution. So the headset has a lot to do with it. You know, I'm not sure what headset DSXR was running, but the Quest 3 that I have right now looks phenomenal in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. I have it tuned great, so it's not only smooth, super crystal clear and sharp. DCS is the same thing. VTOL VR, I have the resolution super sampled to something insane, like 5,000 by God knows what. So sharp, so clear because I can handle it. And again, so how would I compare DCS VR to 2024? Very similar. I think they're going to be really good experiences. And let's talk about flight dynamics. The A10, when I was doing the challenge over the Blue Ridge Mountains, I think, when I flew the A10 and I pulled the joystick back, it reminded me of DCS and the flight dynamics. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 would not have done what the A10 did. It just felt like it slopped, and not that the control slopped, but it just reminded me of like when I fly the A10 and I bank it hard. It was a very similar feeling. So I thought that was pretty cool, and the flight dynamics are definitely improved. Shaky Vasi. All right, so one day ago with one subscriber says, great stuff, looks amazing, and I can't wait to play. With regard to the WMR, Windows Mixed Reality, being discontinued, HP say it will be from November 2026 on their website, which is hopefully true, as I only recently got a G2, admittedly at a bargain price, when everyone was dumping them off immediately after the announced discontinuation. And if I can get a couple years out of it, I should be in a position to buy one of the ever more expensive PC VR headsets. So there's a concern. Again, Windows Mixed Reality, we are a dying population. When you look at Steam VR and their data, there's not a lot of people with Windows Mixed Reality still pushing headsets. I mean, I'm talking about less than, I think it's less than 1%. If I can find the graph, I'll display it here. Hopefully I'm close to correct. I mean, not that that's a good thing, but again, Windows Mixed Reality is dying. This is my concern. Microsoft has said with the update 2.4H2 on Windows, they will no longer have Windows Mixed Reality on the store. So what does that mean? Yes, HP has says, hey, 2026, but Microsoft has says, hey, no, sooner, we're going to remove it off the store. And this was posted on Reddit from a Microsoft employee. So that's more important now. So I think you're in a good spot to be able to save money and get ready to buy something a little bit later on that's going to be more expensive, but just be careful. Either stay on Windows 10 or do not update past that 2.4H2 update, which will literally remove Windows Mixed Reality from your computer. And I do not see a plan in place to bring it back either by the community or by Microsoft. So you're going to be stuck. So be careful. iLinks 2008 says, hi there. Unfortunately, discounting all that teenagers hype. Nobody, including you, is saying the submerged roads and solid bridges underneath them that I saw on the other videos. If FS 2024 is really a new game like they say, why is LaGuardia still missing a lot of details? Why there's no FS 2020 issues present in FS 2024? I'm an ATP rated pilot and in real life, and observe what matters most to me, especially on final approach when you clearly see traffic, landmarks, etc. Please, let's keep it real, please. Will I see those awesome CBs and astrostratus clouds, altostratus clouds, like in real weather? How lighting and lightning are going to fare? If they're only slightly better than FS 2024, then only a slightly improved version of FS 2020. And oh, by the way, those buildings alongside the BQ Expressway in New York are still from the old satellite imagery 7 years ago. Yes, I have done hundreds of visual approaches for runway 31 at LaGuardia, so just by glancing quickly outside, I know what is what. So long. iLinks, that's I mean, I can't argue with you. So at Miami, I could tell that the highway, because I worked at Miami as an air traffic controller for a long time, 15 years, and the highway was like 7 years old, just like you said. So Jorg said that they purchased all new photogrammetry, as much as they could around the world, satellite imagery, photogrammetry data, LiDAR data, terrain mapping. So things look significantly better all around the world, and I think the US got some of the best updates just because I think we have the most aircraft and data and satellites and permissions to get this data in. Jorg said that one of the issues they had was trying to coordinate with other countries, and certain air traffic controllers, like I think in Brazil, they had some issues trying to get certain flights done and certain things that require certain permissions. So how does that work, right? I think I might have mentioned this already. If not, I'll recap it. We have Azure AI, we have photogrammetry data, LiDAR data. All this stuff has to come together to create an updated image. Now, if those flights haven't been done, if we don't have the latest data, if we don't have the latest satellite imagery and all this stuff, yes, correct, it's not going to be updated. I believe it is. I can't talk to those specific situations, but weather, lighting, clouds all seem to have been updated. You want realism. I want realism, and again, there's going to be some areas where palm trees are going to be melted, you know, some buildings might be melted, some areas are going to be absolutely flawless and impressive. Cars might be driving opposite directions, so you might think, well, is this actually better than FS 2020? The answer is yes. There's so many things that they've included in the sim, and again, we really can't turn this into Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty, No Man's Sky. It cannot be this flawless world. It's going to have issues. It's all based on satellite imagery, what's available, photogrammetry, LiDAR data, and on top of that, Azure AI coming through and matching places correctly. So bridges are still going to be underwater, some trees are going to be melting, and there's going to be some issues along the way. There's lots of improvements. I really think there's a lot, and I think with time, as AI gets better and things improve, it's going to be a better experience. So just kind of think how life was 7 years ago when you made a little bit less money and things were a little bit cheaper and you got to fly and enjoy those days. But I'm with you, iLinks. Those things need to be updated. Hopefully they are. I can't speak to all of them, but let's keep it real. You're absolutely right. Those issues are present in these videos, and it kind of is what it is. Those things don't take away that much from me. In fact, I did not see them till they were mentioned to me. And in my video flying over the Grand Canyon, you do see some issues on the terrain. So you're right. It's not perfect, but it's greatly improved. And I'm very happy with the improvement and the direction that it's going. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully the areas that mean the most to you do get the attention. And I think everyone around the world feels like that. It's not just you. There's people in Brazil, people in Canada, people in whatever city and town it is in the world. They're like, man, I want my town updated. So you're not alone. It's just a limit of the technology, you know, really, unless you're going to go out there and you know, do the LiDAR scanning in the plane that you're flying, and, you know, we're just kind of have to wait till all that catches up. So great question. Great comment. How about multiplayer in the smoothest for military operation example formation flight? This is by Test Pilot Virtual. Test Pilot Virtual, great question. I did not test it. In fact, I didn't see anybody on multiplayer. I don't know if we were on the same server. I think I was in my own instance. Maybe I was in the Matrix, but unfortunately, I hope it's smoother. I trust it will be, but I did not get any hands-on experience with that. So sorry. Mark M75 says, was really hoping for quad view support in VR. So I just had to look up the terms so I can make sure I understand this correctly. So look, fixed foveated rendering is when we have in VR, the center of the screen is clear and then the outside is blurry. So let's say the Quest 3. The Quest 3 is capable of a lot of fixed foveated rendering. What does that do? It allows the Quest 3 to run very nice HD graphics right in the center while reducing the resolution on the outside, giving you better performance. Quad view support is essentially a dynamic foveated rendering, which these headsets, let's see, I got a list here, which these headsets like the Somnium VR 1, Pimax Crystal, Vario Aero, and several more have eye tracking. Now, what does that mean? Wherever you look, it's going to track your eye and give you a high resolution in that area, and all around it's going to reduce the resolution. So it's dynamic foveated rendering, meaning it's constantly tracking your eye and keeping a high resolution exactly what you're looking at. It's kind of how it happens right now in real life. I'm looking at the number 23 on my computer. Everything around me is blurry, but I can still see it, except you know, our brains are very powerful and we don't stutter. Maybe we do occasionally, but in VR, this helps improve performance. So just a heads up on that. I believe yes. To answer the question, I'm fairly certain we're going to get it. If not, I'm going to be pushing for it. I think I got a yes on that answer, but now I'm kind of maybe confused because I think I had called it fixed foveated rendering. I'm working on it, and I'll make sure that we get an answer for that. I'll send a couple emails and push that. Again, that's what I'm here for. A3216 says, as an original Crystal user, it makes me very happy to know VR is getting even better in 2024. Thanks for the great content. Hex, yeah, man, absolutely. And it looks like he has a 727 American Airlines tail right there. That's so cool. So yes, definitely getting support. It's improving. I think performance is going to be great. There's a lot of things to look forward to, and I think we're going to be pretty happy. So we can be negative. We can like pick and choose all the things that suck, but to be honest, there's so many great things. I'm being aware of the other things, like some of the questions here, right? I didn't pick and choose just a bunch of easy questions. In fact, some of my biggest critics I just answered right there. They're like, almost call me childish over here responding. But anyways, my point is that things are getting better for VR, and it's going to be really sweet. One last comment by Lulu says, sounds great, but I have so many questions. I'll just wait for real life critical reviews. Fair enough. I think that's very great. Like congested MS servers. Will the chase camera still shake with the aircraft? That's very annoying. Will the trim controls work correctly? Will aircraft react more realistically to controller inputs and less like an arcade game? VR all the way. All right, so Lulu is a fellow VR enthusiast. Great question, and I hope that the systems are now able to run significantly better, hold better crowds, maybe see more people, be more accurate, less stuttering. I want all of that. Yeah, and I mean, actually, if you're flying a chase camera, Lou, in VR, what are you doing? Using the chase camera in VR? You got to get back in the cockpit, man. Back in the cockpit. But yeah, if it's still shaking with the aircraft, that's annoying, and I agree with you. Hopefully these things do get worked out. Again, I wasn't able to ask all these questions, and trim controls work correctly. So I'm curious to know what type of issues you're having. Trim seems to be working for me. Anytime I mess up on the plane, typically I have found it has been my mistake and my terrible flying skills. So will the aircraft react more realistically to controller inputs? My answer is yes. In fact, XP72 also said yes. Blue Games, I believe, also said yes. Overall, people are saying, hey man, this feels better. I don't know how it is, if it's the wind dynamics or what. The controls, they're not as Mickey Mouse as they kind of felt, as arcadey, right? So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching so much. If you want to see the full video, click back here and subscribe, because I'm going to have a lot more content talking about Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 VR. I'm going to review the Pimax Crystal Light here soon, talking about the Somnium VR 1 and a bunch of Flight Sim hardware. So rock and roll, guys. Love you guys. Peace out. God bless. Take it easy.